Over Memorial Day weekend, Utah Patriots held a barbecue at Riverton Park, and I had a chance to interview the founder of Utah Patriots.
Kish North.
And could you please tell us a little bit about Utah Patriots?
Sure, UtahPatriots.com was founded last year. I founded it under the pretense of the need and desire for getting the community together in the state of Utah and our local area.
Anything specific that inspired you to form it?
Yeah, it's actually when the riots took place. Ken, a young man named Ken, was shot in Provo, which really kind of put many of us over the edge, with Black Lives Matter shooting him and some of the riots that took place in Salt Lake and Cottonwood Heights. So that's what really sparked myself and many others in the community to rise up and get out and start helping to protect our community. Small business owners, our police officers are getting ridiculed and persecuted. That's what spurred this.
What is your mission statement for Utah Patriots?
You know, it's on the website, but really our mission statement is God, family, our founding fathers. That's really our mission statement, is to honor our police officers as they honor their duties, honor our fallen, our heroes, and our military, and those that serve today and their families. We respect the Constitution of the United States. We plan to do all we can to keep it alive and keep it safe from dilution and tyrannical governments coming in and changing what we fought for hundreds of years in this country.
Do you have a number of people that are registered with Utah Patriots?
You know, great question. We don't charge for membership. There's none of that. The word Utah Patriots is a word that can be used for any patriot. That's why I picked that word. It wasn't, Kish's Patriot Group, or it wasn't anything like that. It's Utah Patriots. So anyone that's patriotic is welcome to follow us, to come to our events, to help support all we do. From legislative work, we've got a team that does legislative work at the Capitol, to security teams when we go out with other groups that are patriotic like us, and we reach over the table and we work with groups like UCA and CMU, and we talk to the Proud Boys. We talk to all these groups, patriotic groups that want to fulfill their duties as American citizens.
Were you at all surprised at the number of people that signed up for Utah Patriots and wanted to participate in making Utah a better place?
Yeah, wonderful question. I appreciate you bringing that up. Comparative to during the last 6 months, 6 months have been tough. I think with COVID, I think with a lot of people being scared of the government, federal government, making specific statements about people that follow either Donald Trump or the Republican Party, and how they might be classified as terrorists or white supremacists or whatever. Yeah, people are leery about coming out of their homes, which is unfortunate. You've heard this a lot about the sheep and waking people up. I no longer want to wake up the sheep. I need the lions to come out. We need to stand up. We need to be heard, and we need to be seen. So back to your question. Yeah, I did a Back the Blue rally on the 17th. And it was very disappointing, right downtown, right in front of the police department, and only 110 people showed up, which I appreciate those 110 because a lot's got accomplished, but we should be 1,000 people deep. Our police department is getting ridiculed, not only from the citizens, the bad citizens that persecute them, but from their own bosses, from Mayor Mendenhall down. So our poor police officers are like ciphers in the snow. They go to a job alone, leave their spouses at home, and they wonder who's going to attack them this time. Is it their boss? Is it citizens? So I was surprised, and I'm grateful all in one. I think, without exaggeration, must have been close to 300 people here plus. 260 reserved RSVP, and they're reserved at the last minute. And it's wonderful to see like-minded people come out and put down their guard and just have a great barbecue on this wonderful weekend.
Earlier during your speech, you listed some of your gripes with some of the people in politics. Most notably, you mentioned Cox.
We've got Governor Cox with a capital C who needs to be ousted. We've got Mitt Romney that needs to go as well.
What is your issue with Cox?
Yeah, this has got to be PG channel, right? So let me see my issue with Cox. Couple things. One is specifically a couple things. One is the fact that most recently is the Utah Jazz has made mention that they're going to donate $10,000 to a scholarship fund to underprivileged children, specifically only black children. Well, Utah's only made up of 2% of black people. What about our Samoan families? What about our Latino families? What about our Hispanic families? What about any family that is underprivileged? 98% of those underprivileged. Why aren't the Utah Jazz supporting them? Then they went to Governor Cox and he endorsed their decision. That's a problem for me. Another problem is the sports problem we have. How he endorsed that it's okay for example, a boy to recognize as a girl, hence that boy now gets to play on the opposite sex sports team. And he endorses this as well. I got a real problem with that. Real problem with that. So that's just two of the factors, right? The only thing Cox did, and I will give him this, was the new gun law, right? Open carry law. Thank you. One thing he did well. We're waiting for more. So there's multiple things, but that's just a couple of things that I have an issue with.
It's okay if you don't know the actual number, but could you give me a ballpark or a number of the amount of money you've raised in charity?
Yeah, so our charity drives have been a couple things. One was Christmas time, we did a canned food drive. I think there was 1,053 cans to be exact. We raised, and we gave that to the Calvary Chapel downtown Salt Lake. And it's not something we brag about, it's just something we did, right? There was a need. And at Christmas times, there's a greater need, so we're able to do that. We've raised money for a young fellow that got shot in West Valley recently. Two of his friends were killed in the car. He got shot, had a spinal operation, a shoulder operation. We raised some money for him as well, for his family, for his rent. Two officers got shot and killed, not killed, at the jail last month. So they went up upon a homeless man that was on the park, and the man turned around and shot one officer through the cheek, I believe. Bullet came out and lodged in the other police officer's eye. And I worked with Utah Patriots and UCA, a couple others. They raised, don't quote me, I think UCA raised over $5,000 plus. And we pulled that, and we were able to give it to those families. So that's just a couple of the things we've been able to do. When the homeless were displaced in downtown Salt Lake, they moved under the bridge. That was during Christmas time, it was winter time. And one of the gals from Black Lives Matter, believe it or not, reached out to me. And she was with Black Lives Matter at the time, and she asked if we could help. And knowing that she knows me, that I'm not bitter about anything, and we're like, sure, what do you need? And they said, we have no firewood. So we called up the members in my church locally, and called up some guys, the Proud Boys, and some other groups, and we said, we need firewood. And literally within 3 hours, we had 3 big truckloads of firewood loaded, probably about 4 cords of wood, hauled it down there, dropped it off to the homeless people, only to get ridiculed and basically kicked off by the other Black Lives Matter. So, a little ironic, but there's still a need, and the important thing is we do our best to fulfill those needs. That's a few things we've done.
Earlier when I asked you about the mission statement for Utah Patriots, you listed many things, but is there anything you personally, what is, for you personally, the number one biggest issue that you want to push to address?
I can't say there's one issue, because
if there's a few, then list them.
I think we've got a problem with our voting in the state of Utah, how votes are done nationally, not just in our own state. I got a problem with big tech and big companies being involved in politics with our governor and our airport in Salt Lake, and the list can go on, right?
Yeah.
So, there's a saying I came up with. It's called "stand up and take a seat." I came up with that last year because we need to stand up, look at who's in our seats, politician-wise, and if they're not doing a good job, we need to vote them out. That's a big thing for us. That's why we got a group within our Utah Patriots that does legislative work, right? So I think voting's an issue. I think critical race theory is what they're trying to push. I think that's a big issue. And we did that. Sophie in our group heads us up, and she's done a good job with some of those bills recently. So there's some of the big things. I think we got a problem with this defunding thing. I think the word defund is just a wrong word. Do we need to retrain? Always. Businesses do it. They're always training, right? Getting their people better. So I don't think the police department's any different. I think you should fund the police, not defund the police. I think they need more money. I think they need more officers. 70 plus have quit Salt Lake City. Who's filling those voids? 17 minutes for a 911 class 1 call right now. 17 minutes. The crime's done. They're picking up the pieces. We got some problems. And we need to speak up and help change these. It's all about change. Change is good, not a bad thing. We do it in our homes every day with our children. Change is good. And if you're not changing, you got a problem. So we need to change this. We need to change it civilly, but we need the lions to wake up and help with this. Okay? That's what we need. And you know what? UCA, groups like that, we're making changes. We are. I challenge other Utah Patriot groups, all groups, to drop the egos, work together collectively across the table, unify, and let's get more work done. That's the goal here. We need to get more stuff done. That's my mission statement. Let's get it done.